R&D from First Rule. Good morning, Larry.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you doing?
All right, you're our...
I was like, what are you wearing?
Something crazy.
What are you wearing?
So one of the main stories I'd like to talk about today has been an advancement in brain-computer interfaces and how that affects people that have lost limbs, people that can no longer, are, let's say, bound to wheelchairs now, and it's a huge advancement that they made recently. So what I'm actually wearing is a consumer version of the same idea to give you kind of an idea of what it is. For those of you on the radio, it's a headset with lots of different nodes that are touching my head right now.
Right.
And what we're actually able to do with this is train your brain in order to send commands to a computer from your brain.
Okay.
So, as an example, I've brought here, and I'll turn it for the cameras too, a little example where there's a cube on screen.
Right.
It's just sitting there. But when I think about moving the cube, it should move it. Now, again, I'm not good at this. There we go. I'm pushing it back by thinking about push. And now it's come forward because I'm talking about something
All right, now
else.
hold on a second. Wait a minute. All right. Turn it around so you can't see it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now there you go. Okay, now we're going to move the camera in. I know this magic trick. Okay. All right. So now what are you thinking about?
So basically, I had to train when it said, so it put a box on screen, and it said, okay, think about pushing this box like a Jedi. So at first, it didn't do anything when I thought about it. It had to actually learn when I'm concentrating on just thinking about the word push, what electrons are firing in my brain.
Right.
And again, I've only done a couple of trainings, but at this point, it should be, so if I keep it up the top of the screen, if I think push, it should go back. So
okay, now you're thinking about some type of coin.
Oh, could be. Did it come down? Oh.
It looks like it's the...
And of course, we've lost battery.
Of course you did.
Here we go.
Think about more power for the battery. You're thinking about a naked woman. That's interesting.
There you go. So see how it's pushing back. Now I'm thinking push. I'll let it come forward.
Yeah, turn a little bit so we can see it. Okay, now what are you thinking?
I'm thinking about pushing it, and then I'll pull it back.
So don't say, see if you can say without saying anything.
Well, how are we supposed to know what he's doing?
Well, look at the box.
Well, I know, but
I know it's hard to connect the two, but essentially it learns.
It
how
learns.
You
Okay,
think
so
about
this
that.
is in the early stages.
Yes, and this is something that actually in the world of computer geeks, we all really like this, and we were messing with this for the last year. In fact, even professional video gamers were doing that. People that wanted to shave off milliseconds from their time, they're playing professional gaming.
Of course they did.
So that it could fire the gun for them. They don't have to click. So this is just a consumer example of this technology. The problem is always getting these diodes, these connectors, closer to the brain. The closer you get inside the brain, the better the signal you get. And that's always the biggest problem. Right now we have 3D printers that we've looked at for the past couple weeks that, if someone loses an arm in Afghanistan, they can make another arm. But the problem is always we'd like them to be able to control that arm like normal. So this is where this gets exciting. A whole bunch of Australian researchers have created what they claim basically does this. It's a series of it's a little piece of metal, like tubing, that can go into blood vessels, and they can actually insert it via right here in your neck and your jugular.
Yeah.
So it doesn't require open brain surgery, and they can actually push it up into the brain, and it can allow. It basically is like it's a hub that allows these commands to be processed and then sent to bionic arms, bionic legs, and allow those people that could no longer walk.
What was that movie? What was that science fiction movie where they shrunk the spaceship so it could go through the veins?
Oh, I think I remember seeing that.
It wasn't
in the
like
80s.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but it was like
Yeah.
body something
Was
or
the rabbit involved? Yeah,
shrink and they had the spaceship going through the veins.
Yeah.
That sounds like this.
Essentially, yeah, except we're not shrinking anybody down. But yeah, so
Not
basically
yet,
we're,
anyway.
we're putting this in there.
All
It's
you have to do is think about it.
And the idea being that this little thing expands in the blood vessel and it touches all the edges of the blood vessel in your brain, and then can use that essentially as like reception. It's like an antenna.
So basically, you're going to be able. We used to joke about this. You're going to be able to actually implant your cell phone into your brain.
I think so. I actually let me put it this way. With this piece of technology I have, as primitive as it is, I've thought about going home and making this project at home where I can turn on almost any device in my house just by thinking about it, not saying anything, not making a motion. Literally look at the radio and think on, and it turns on.
And how would that? Because the machine would then Bluetooth it to the
You'd
To
have
the
to have
phone-
some
to
sort
the-
of control mechanism to do that. The biggest problem is that humans aren't telepaths, so we're not used to controlling our brains and our thoughts.
We're not yet.
Or like exactly. When actually this
We only
technology
control-
could make us telepaths. If you had this technology and I had this technology, we
Yes.
could technically talk to each other without saying anything.
Soon
It's
we-
totally possible.
So
We are
basically,
gonna-
so the talk show host would no longer be. I would just think
right.
it.
You just
yeah,
think
just
it's-
think about what you're saying and boom.
All right, Larry Senneback. First rule, R&D. Wow.
Yeah, it's always
That's
something fun, right?
just something
That's
else.
freaky. All right. Now put your lab coat on and head back to the basement.
Will do.
It's 8:24 here, Big 550.